Good evening, and thanks for joining us here for 3 News at 11. I'm Annabelle Childers. Tonight, we're following the aftermath of a major windstorm. Cleanup is underway across Northeast Ohio as fallen trees and power lines cause all kinds of problems. Just in, officials in Providence now say they will release a person of interest that was detained in that Brown University shooting. Officials made the disclosure within the last half hour. That's more than 12 hours after revealing they had detained a person in connection to the attack. And we are going to start off with a live look at Cleveland International Hopkins Airport. You can see quite a few people in that shot. Looks like that Frontier check-in is pretty busy. Also new tonight, 2 18-year-old men were killed and a 17-year-old was critically injured this morning in a high-speed rollover crash on Interstate 77 in Cleveland. The airstrikes are the first time the United States has conducted a direct military attack on Iran. New data from the Commerce Department shows inflation is moving in the wrong direction, and it usually occurs toward the end of September. Now let's bring in meteorologist Anthony Copeland. Anthony, will we be able to see that moon? And one of the biggest stories of this year, the future of the Cleveland Browns and their possible move to Brook Park.
Now we know that story is going to be a story.
Lots of people that are braving this weather because they want to celebrate the holidays, but we have snow. The Academy votes are in, the other award shows are over, the gold statues are ready. That all means it is time for the Oscars. And a young surfer in Florida says he's lucky he still has his foot after a very scary encounter with a shark off the coast of New Smyrna Beach. He says this attack is not going to stop him from getting back in the water. I think it might stop me from getting in the water. I don't know about you.
I would not be back. No, I would not be back. You know what? Lake Erie doesn't have sharks.
No. You got to check the bacteria.
Go check the bacteria.
But no sharks. Live look at the Olympic flame in Milan, where they are 6 hours ahead of us. So the time there is 6:13 in the morning. And in the heart of Milan, people from all around the world gathered for the Winter Olympics on this Valentine's Day. Our David Greenberg is there and talked to some visitors who are offering us their advice on how to build a strong relationship. You can see some people start to gather on sidewalks there, some suspicious behavior from cars, and then we see the first donut in this intersection. And then late last night, a 26-year-old was shot and killed. His killer has still not been caught. Chicago put the Browns in a deep freeze, especially on the quarterback side of the ball. Final score, Bears 31, Browns 3. Chris Wrinkle is here now to break down what happened. Chris, not a great score there. Loved ones on both sides were in the courtroom today, and so were dozens of Canton police officers. So many police officers, they actually could not fit into the courtroom. Well, just in the last few minutes, we saw a clash. I want Bailey, if you'll point through the fence right there, you can see dozens of officers are now retreating. But just a few minutes ago, we watched 2, 3, 4 agents suddenly run out of that entrance and then go toward these protesters. And I want to show you here right now something that's different that we haven't seen over the last few nights is there are sheriff's vehicles that are blocking and making sure that protesters stay on the sidewalk. Even though we can't call that race yet, the people here at this event are definitely treating this as a celebration. They are incredibly optimistic. Take a look at the problems this car got into propped up on that branch. You go down this street and you can see it gets even worse. Canyon Brook Drive is actively falling apart. We're watching as large pieces of this road fall into the water. And this is a busy area. There's a daycare up the hill. We're surrounded by banks and this children's dentist office right behind me, where 4-year-old Rosalie Martin was when that bullet went through the front window. This is the bridge where pedestrians can get across the Sandusky River safely. But Fremont officials say that family was walking on this bridge along the train tracks when they were hit. Vice President Vance said over and over again that this administration is not going to forget East Palestine, and East Palestine is going to be a priority. I want you to understand just how massive of a scene this is. We are hearing helicopters overhead. We are here on Colorado Avenue where traffic has been blocked off. But if you look behind me, you can see all of these first responder vehicles, law enforcement agencies are stationed on Missouri Avenue. Oh my gosh, truly, and it's cute. first, but then it's also really impressive. You see those older kids.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, I'm jealous. Think about the rhythm we could have
If we started that
learned
young.
from a young age.
Right.
Then throughout this parking lot, you can see some of that damage, debris after the roof was picked up. All of these lines depict the number of flu cases over the last 5 years, but this pink one is what I want you to pay attention to. This is this current flu season, and you can see it dramatically spikes there. Now, about 3.5 weeks ago, a housing community here in Canton was shocked as neighbors tell us they watched a woman eat a cat. What are your thoughts on the snow?
Awesome.
And that little girl, her name was Chloe. We're trying to keep that mantra that this snow is awesome, but we do want you to remember those warnings to stay safe and drive very slow if you do have to get out on these roads this Thanksgiving.
Annabelle, we are sure thankful that you are out there telling us about the conditions so we don't have to step outside.
Of course.
Go put that hood back on, get warm. We'll see you later on tonight. Thank you.
Breaking news tonight, an explosion heavily damages a senior living complex near Youngstown, leaving dozens of people with nowhere to go and plenty of questions about what exactly happened. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I am Annabelle Childers. That explosion happened at an apartment building filled with seniors in Austintown, which is just outside of Youngstown city limits. Our Maya Ward has been at the scene all night and she brings us the latest.
In Austintown, Amaya Ward, 3 News.
And tonight, the cause of a different explosion that leveled a home in Geauga County remains under investigation. That explosion happened Friday afternoon on Hart Road in Montville Township. We're told a Hamden firefighter was having a new furnace installed when a possible gas leak and then explosion happened inside the home. The firefighter, along with one of his daughters, was seriously injured in that blast. Today, the online group called the Blue Line Unlimited announced a partnership with the Hampton Fire Department to help raise a $100,000 donation for the family.
This captain has spent many, many years responding to calls like this and helping people that have had problems like this, or house fires, or injured, or hundreds of calls he's responded to. And this time we responded to his house, and he's the one that needed the help, and we were there to help him.
That firefighter, who was a 25-year veteran of the department, is in a Cleveland hospital tonight in critical condition. And we turn now to a check on our weather. It was a fairly mild day today, but we have more changes here on the way. Meteorologist Jessica Van Meter is here with a first look. Hey, Jessica.
Hey there, good evening. Temperatures topping out in the low 50s for the second half of the day. We do have more changes heading towards Thanksgiving, though. We'll talk about some rain, some cold, and some snow as we head towards the end of next week coming up.
Jessica, thank you for tracking that. And new tonight, Cleveland Mayor Justin Bibb visited a local barbershop today to talk about the proposal to merge or shut down schools in the Cleveland Metropolitan School District. The mayor taking his message to the Urban Cuts Barbershop on Lorraine Avenue and answering questions from concerned parents about why these changes are needed now.
My concern is so far is the safety for the students to go there. We need for students to go to school there so they feel safe. Go to a football game, for an example, they feel safe to go into a football game.
The reason why this is a hard choice is because we know that there are a lot of memories from some of the schools that may be closing or will be merged if this plan goes through next month. And we want to make sure that if the board approves this decision, that we pay homage to those memories, we pay homage to the legacy of high schools like Collinwood.
The mayor says when he was first elected, he was given a mandate from the voters to make sure that students have a quality and safe education. He also says the building mergers are needed due to a more than 50% drop in student population in the last 20 years. In Lake County tonight, a 52-year-old man was fatally shot outside a downtown Painesville restaurant. It happened around 3:30 Saturday morning at Johnny Gringo's restaurant on Chester Street. Police say a 28-year-old man was arrested at the scene after bystanders detained him. The identities of the victims and the suspect have not yet been released. The Lorain County Sheriff's Office has announced the death of Sheffield Village Police Lieutenant Aaron Bober, who passed away following a medical emergency on Friday morning. The Lorain County Sheriff's Office released a statement saying in part, quote, It is with deep sorrow that we extend our heartfelt condolences to the family, friends, and co-workers of Lieutenant Bober. To our brothers and sisters at Sheffield Village Police Department, we stand with you in this difficult time. The granddaughter of President John F. Kennedy has revealed she's been diagnosed with terminal cancer. 35-year-old Tatiana Schlossberg says she was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia with a rare mutation known as inversion 3. Doctors discovered the cancer shortly after she gave birth last year. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene says she's resigning. That announcement last night comes just 1 week after President Trump said he'd had enough of her criticism. Greene has been one of the president's most vocal supporters, and she's considered a MAGA founder. But recently, she broke with him on the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files and extending Obamacare subsidies.
I refuse to be a battered wife, hoping it all goes away and gets better. If I am cast aside by the president and the MAGA political machine and replaced by neocons, big pharma, big tech, military-industrial war complex, foreign leaders, and the elite donor class that can never, ever relate to real Americans, then many common Americans have been cast aside and replaced as well.
Greene's last day in office will be January 5th. Meantime, President Trump is giving Ukraine until Thanksgiving to accept his peace deal and end the conflict with Russia. But Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says the 28-point plan endorses major Russian demands, including surrendering territory and giving up plans to join NATO. Zelensky says accepting the plan would risk Ukraine's freedom, but he did add he is considering the proposal. And still ahead tonight, Firefighter Remembered, a show of support for a Cleveland fireman who lost his life while trying to help others. And later, busy travel season, it is now upon us, and the new predictions out for this year will have you making preparations now. We'll be right back.